When President Obama spoke of the winter of our hardship in his inaugural address, no one in America understood that better than the folks we met in Wilmington, Ohio. They're people in the grip of a brutal series of layoffs at DHL, the shipping company, and their experience was part of the news this past week that new claims for unemployment benefits are the highest in 26 years. Since the economic crash of '08, taxpayers have committed to more than $1 trillion in various bailouts of Wall Street, but not much of that is reaching families in crisis. On kitchen tables, headlines from Washington and New York lie beside unpaid tuition bills and foreclosure notices. After all the speeches and parties of Inauguration Day, what were the families in Wilmington asking?
Are we going to lose our home? Are we going to be able to pay our property taxes? What are we going to do for insurance? What are we going to do for food? And these are questions that you never think that we'd ask yourself, And now they're discussions in the home.
Bear hug, big.
I love you, buddy.
Mike O'Mockerly is losing the job that helps support 4 children and a grandson.
They always say that God closes a door, he opens another one. We have faith that he will.
Faith is what sustains Wilmington now. Settled by Quakers 200 years ago, it's a community with such an all-American look that it seems like a movie set. About 12,000 people live here, and many, like O'Mockerly, work in the last industry you'd expect in a laid-back town. In 1980, Airborne Express turned Wilmington's abandoned Air Force base into a hub for overnight shipping.
DHL 934, Wilmington Tower.
8,000 people found work at what they call the Air Park. Then, in 2003, a German company, DHL, bought Airborne in an effort to win a big piece of the U.S. market. It didn't work. The merger was rocky, there were service interruptions, customers left, and with last fall's economic crash, DHL was losing $6 million a day in the U.S. Layoffs started coming by the hundreds. Is everybody a Thursday layoff? Yeah. Everybody got laid off on Thursday, most everybody. People who have worked here for decades found themselves in DHL-sponsored meetings learning about unemployment.
We could tell you what we did on a daily basis, but you wouldn't believe it. You load boxes in a big container and it'll weigh 800 pounds. You push it out the door through 8 inches of snow and push it up on a barge, and we were idiots enough that we did it by ourselves. We worked as a team, and we had a good friend right alongside of us.
You're losing a lot more than a job.
Our friends. It's crazy. You'll never understand it, but we loved it.
I remember people with scarves breathing through ice and just unreal eyelashes frozen. And I started in '81, and when you worked, you worked. Why weren't we bailed out?
DHL is spending $260 million on severance pay and health insurance that will keep many workers going for several months. But there is a feeling in town that the German company wrecked a successful American business and wiped out thousands of jobs.
I was educated here, Wilmington City Schools, and then at Wilmington College.
And now you're the mayor.
And now I'm the mayor. There were 576 hourly employees.
For months, Mayor David Resk has been getting layoff notices. By federal law, companies have to notify local government when layoffs are coming. And Resk is getting a new letter from DHL every week or so, adding a few hundred at a time to the growing list of lost jobs.
It's got classifications and numbers on it, but there's not names and addresses and who their wife or their family or their children are. And so you look at these and at the end of the day, you think, that's 800 and some people, folks, live here, work here,
The mayor told us 1 out of 3 households has a family member working at the air park. You are what people around here call an air park family.
Absolutely.
You work there. Angela and John Pica are raising 4 children on 2 air park salaries. Angela started at Airborne Express when she was 19. Now, as a supervisor, she walks laid-off workers to the company gate and takes their ID badges away.
I escorted 5 individuals out today. Last week, I think I escorted 3.
What's the last thing you say to them?
I tell them that I wish them the best, and it's been a pleasure working with them, and it has been a pleasure working with every one of them because they're a great bunch of people, and they deserve so much better than this.
For a town this small, it's like the trauma of Katrina without the physical damage. People like to say their jobs drive them crazy, but for many, work keeps them sane.
On November 2nd of 2003, my son was killed over the skies of Fallujah in a Chinook helicopter that was shot down, and he died with 16 other soldiers.
In Iraq.
Yes.
At that time, Mike O'Mockerly was working at a plant making parts for new cars.
And the outgoing vice president from Airborne Express, he knew I was having some problems, and he said, yeah, we need bus drivers. Come on back out.
The job at DHL after his death meant a lot to you.
Yes. I was working at a machining line at a factory, and all I could see was his face all day long, and it was killing me inside. And this job meant that I could see different people and talk to people and kind of become human.
By Christmas, the mayor had received 14 layoff letters and 3,000 people were out of work. 5,000 were still on the job at DHL, but things were getting bleak for them too.